Tree pruning Perth, stay smart and save money. In this very quick video, we're going to that you can do to save yourself a hell of a lot of money on getting tree pruning done in Perth, Western Australia. It is quite expensive in general, but there are some things you can do. Now, firstly, we're going to look at certain ways you can go about searching for who you're gonna hire that's going to save you money. Some guys do charge more than others. And that's fine, that's just the way they run their business, but if you are looking for it on the cheap, we have a way you can go about doing that. Who to hire and when, that kind of mixes in together, so the when is important as well, and other ways to save on tree pruning. So let's get into it. So first up, trying to save $1 and getting it on the cheap. So most people, when they start searching for someone, will come straight to a search engine such as Google or Bing and type in tree pruning Perth or tree pruning services or tree expert near me or whatever the term. That's fine. You may also do go to Yellow Pages and look in your area. You could go into the local paper. Now, one thing I just wanted to point out is a lot of people just go for the first, 2 or 3 that they see. Some people don't even get 2 or 3. Some people just go to the first one they see and think that's what they need to pay. I do suggest, firstly, that you get at least 3 quotes. Generally, 3 is about good. If you start getting 4 or 5, 6, generally you're not really going to save any more money because most of these guys are insured and qualified, and they're generally they charge within a range of each other. But yeah, 3 should give you a good range of pricing. Now, if you're going to go for someone at the top, now I'm not saying that Assured Trees is expensive, nor the top ones, but in general, anyone who is who you see them a lot, say they've got a big ad in Yellow Pages, or they're always at the top of all the search results. The fact of the matter is they're paying a bit of money to be there. Now, I'm not saying this particular company is. You can get other ones in there that aren't. But as a general rule of thumb, if you can see them easily, they're spending a bit more on marketing, and when they come to quote the job, you will end up picking up that marketing tab. Again, that is not a blanket observation. You do get other companies that they get a lot of calls in and they like to churn through the work. Other ones like to get a lot of calls, a lot of quotes, and they basically write their own ticket, and they just work on 1 or 2 jobs a day. And that sees them through to. Everyone has a different way of doing it. So my first tip is don't just go for the ones right at the top because you could be paying more. Maybe get one at the top, maybe get one on the second page of Google, shop around a little bit. Now, my second big tip is who to hire and when. So it's going to be more when to hire. Now, companies, not all companies are either expensive or cheap. Most of these guys are small businesses, and they'll be charging you depending on how much work they have on. It's just the way it goes. I ran a small business in the tree game. If you've only got a week's worth of work booked in advance, you're going to start giving out cheaper quotes just because you need to win a bit more work. It's just the nature of the beast. Usually work quietens down a lot during the off season, the winter months. So if you can wait or it's winter now, I do suggest you getting a price now. But that being said, that prices will fluctuate depending on not just the time of year, but how much work that particular company has on. Now, what we actually do, I run GoTree Quotes. So we're kind of a job source network for local arborists and tree experts around Perth. So what customers come and do every day is they put in the details for their job and their contact details. And what we do is we send that off to the 3 closest tree experts who have been voted by previous users as the best priced now. So we basically think of us like a real estate agent. We sit between yourself and the contractor. It's completely free service for yourself. We do charge a contractor a very small amount for the lead. We've found keeping us in between you and them does keep them honest. Once they do come out and give you the quote, though, you will be dealing directly with them and obviously paying them. We just sort of mediate who we send the leads to. We find some people are really hot at times and they're giving great prices and doing a great job. And we do come across some contractors that just aren't doing right by customers, and we drop them quick smart. So we're always cycling through all the local guys that are close to you, who you generally call, who would pop up in Yellow Pages or in Google search. But we just have a bit more of an insight to what they're currently charging and how good of a contractor they actually are. We completely vet them, and as I mentioned, previous contractors, and you'll probably be contacted too by us if you leave your details, and we'll just find out who was cheap, who wasn't, and who you went with and why. Now, we do have a few other great tips to saving money. So, other ways to save on tree surgery or tree pruning in Perth. We mentioned hire in the off season. Now, grant better access. This is a big one. Now, it's going to depend on exactly where your tree is placed on your property. Now, if it's in your front yard, there's no power lines around, and it's easily accessible, it's going to be a lot cheaper than the exact same tree in your backyard with no rear access, maybe a small gate to walk through. It's on a hill, it's at the bottom of the hill, and there's just things all around it. The quicker the company can get the tree on the ground and in the back of his truck, the cheaper it's going to cost you. So if you don't have good access, can they get access from maybe your neighbor on the backside? Do they have rear access? And you can talk to them about getting access there. What about your neighbor on the right or left? Any way, or even remove a panel of fencing, any way that you can get the contractor closer to the tree, and make sure you let them know where they're able to get access when they're quoting, the better it's going to be. Also, as we spoke about getting it on the ground with speed, if you've got a lot of things, just say your tree's sort of in a courtyard or there's lots of obstacles around, move all pot plants, get everything out of the way, or at least tell them that's what's going to happen, and obviously do it before they come and take the tree down. So yeah, anything you can do to speed up the process just so they're not tiptoeing around things. Same goes for, I don't know, your lawn. Maybe some boards you can put down so they don't damage the lawn, or just say, hey, go for it. If you damage the lawn, no worries, because if they've got to lower each branch by branch very slowly and take care of your lawn, okay, that's great, your lawn's going to be looking tip-top, but it could end up costing you another $300-400 when you could just bring your lawn back with a bit of fertilizer, fill in a couple of holes, and away you go. So that's just my advice. And we spoke about getting 3 quotes from GoTree Quotes. Now, another really good one is, depending on the trees you're going to get, you're either going to get a hardwood tree, now, which I'm not just talking about a eucalyptus, but pines as well, something that's a regular timber, or you're going to have palm trees. Now, palm trees can get expensive because they're not like a regular tree. The arborist cannot chip it, they cannot turn it into mulch, it can't be spread on gardens, it must be dumped. And it's about $200 a ton. So that becomes quite expensive for them, which obviously they include that in the quote. If you've got 3, 4, 5, 6 palm trees, and depending on the size of them, they are quite heavy. What I suggest is, if you're removing palm trees, try and line it up with a council cleanup and just ask them to put it out the front. The council takes it away free, or you can put it in the green bins over time. Either way is going to save you literally hundreds and hundreds of dollars. One more way, if you do have a hardwood, preferably gum, but look, if it's a softer wood like a pine, it should still be fine. Get them to take the tree down, take all the brush away, all the branches, and cut up the trunk of the tree, any of the thicker branches, into foot-long pieces to sell on eBay as firewood. So in the earlier example I used, you've got a tree with poor access right down the backyard. They're going to have to, by hand, bring it all the way to the front. It's going to cost money because it's going to take time, more manpower. But if you get them to just drop it, cut it up, you can take a photo, put it online, and the kicker is that people are willing to not only pay you money for it, but they'll come and do the labor just to get the timber at a cheaper rate than they normally would if it was dried and split timber. So there are a few pointers. Yeah, look, if you've got any comments or questions, please leave them in the comment box below, and best of luck with your tree job.